Intertracial.
This is the sound of a trail.
Yo, what's up people? Wagwan fam. This is a Trey coming through with another video. Now this was a debate slash discussion that I filmed in the Venture Centre, Ladbroke Grove, Goulburn Road. This discussion and debate was meant to be about who are we? This was done in Black History Month, October 2014. Yes, that's the UK's Black History Month. And it was meant to be who are we? What's our role in this society? What's our history? What's our real identity? We was also going to touch on the Human Zoo controversy that happened in 2014. You know, the exhibition from a South African artist put this exhibition on throughout Europe. It was a success. When it came to London, it got boycotted and it got protests against it, and because of that it got banned from going on in the Barbican. So we talk about that and the history of the Human Zoo just in general, where it comes from, etc, etc. Now, during this discussion it goes in different directions. A lot of it is about religion, in particular Christianity, and its impact on the people in Africa. The most interesting thing about this discussion I find was that there's a big difference between someone who was raised in Africa, Cameroon to be exact, and the opinions that she held against the opinions of people from the Caribbean. And you see it in this talk. So some things, they will both be looking at the same thing, the same situation. They will both be looking at it but have different views about it. And that just goes from everything from interracial relationships to religion and its role and impact on society and black people in general and all of that. So it's interesting to see the difference, and you find that here. Another thing that was kind of a negative thing to me was that there wasn't much young black people there, and there wasn't much young black males. There was no young black males or young mixed race males, whatever. They wasn't really there. So I find it disheartening almost that people can talk conscious. When you talk to people, they want to seem like they're conscious or they got intellect and they, you know what I'm saying, they're aware of stuff. They be on YouTube, they be on Facebook, they be writing all this stuff. But really when it comes to even attending just a small talk, to talk about these sorts of issues and actual actions, people are not there. People don't want to do anything. People just want to be online revolutionaries, but really in real life and in real time there's no action going into it. And I feel like, you know what, going to this debate and filming it, I feel like everyone needs to step up, particularly my generation and younger need to step up to these sorts of issues, but also take more action. And also young black or young mixed race males in particular need to really stand up, because over here there's so much influence and we've got so much things at our disposal, but we ain't doing nothing. And going to these events is not enough, and no one even really wants to go to these events. If it was a concert, if there was food there, if it was this and that, people will go. The manager of the Venture Centre, of the venue there, has to fight hard just to put on these sorts of events for black awareness or black history or anything, and hardly anyone turns up. They've done movie nights there, they've done talks there, they've done all these things to try and get the conversation in the community, the awareness out there, but really people don't turn up. And it's sad that they have to resort to things that are thinking, how can we get people to come? I know, what if we have chicken? And it's almost like a joke. It's almost like a joke to say the only way to get young black people interested, especially young black males, how are we going to get them interested in coming to the events? Oh, let's have fried chicken. It's almost like a joke, but that was a serious answer, you know. And it's sad, but it's actually true. Like, if you tell these people there's going to be food there, and if it was entertainment, if it was like a artist singing or whatever, is that if there's gonna be girls there, people will go to that. If there's food there, people will go to that. But if it's the conversation about how the situation that we're in, the problems that we're facing and things like that, no one will go to it. But anyway, I'm gonna stop ranting now. And yeah, so that's basically what the video is about. Let me know what you think about the people's views and all of them things in the video, and let me know what sort of subjects people actually would like to see. I'm not gonna go out the way and say, oh, I really want to see this, or please film that. But let me know what sort of subjects you would like me to film, because right now I'm just really about filming different things. As you can see, if you haven't seen on my page, there's an actual dialogue between a group of GOCC Hebrew Israelites and a Muslim in Brixton, and I filmed that. It's about half an hour long or whatever, and it's interesting to see the different people's perspectives, especially when it comes to the history. So really, I'm just doing this sort of thing because I see that there's a lot of potential that, you know, the black community has at their fingertips, where they can actually cause real change for themselves in this modern day and age. But the thing is, there's too much groups. The Rastas are over here, the Nuwabians are over there, people that practice Kemet over here, the Hebrew Israelites over there, the Nation of Islam over here. Oh, all these sort of Christian sects are over here. You know, the Black Panthers over there. All these normal black nationalists are over here. These African people over here, these Caribbean people over there. Oh, well, I'm born in Britain, so I'm British. And it's just like, there's all these sorts of different groups. But the thing is, everyone is facing the same situation. Everyone's facing the same problems. Everyone's got the same, oh, there's no unity, or there's no this and that. Okay then, well, the first thing to do is actually come together and make a plan. But the first thing you need to do is come together and make an agenda. That's what you need to do. But in order to do that, people need to understand where everyone is and the things that actually link us. And we spend too much time talking, but at the end of the day, it's sad because people can't do no action unless we talk first. So if it's hard to get people to talk, that's why there's no action being done. So anyway, again, I'm going to stop the run. It's the second time I've said that. I'm going to cut this off right now. Let me know what you think about this video. It's coming up now. Check the different views and let me know what you think about the actual opinions in that. Big up to the manager and Venture Center. Big up Rudy for being the moderator in the debate and controlling it and all that, and also putting in a lot of information. And I look forward to recording these people more. Check out our Atreus page, subscribe, like, all that sort of stuff. Bless up.
So many. It's evening.
Oh, good night.
It's afternoon, which is part of the evening. Alright. It's gone 6.
I thought the debate was
Well, we're not debating about the time now.
What are you debating? Can we get on to that?
Okay. Good evening. Yeah, good evening. Okay.
Evening.
The debate is based around the human zoo. Remember the human zoo? You need information of human zoo?
Yeah.
Okay. It was when the exhibition.
Oh, God, yeah.
You want to pass it on to the country?
Yeah, yeah. Don't even try that. Thanks, Melanie. Hold it. Randy, hold it next door. Close the door.
He's not going over, he's sitting down.
Don't slide.
You're sitting down!
Catch it!
Are you going for real? Come here, man.
Did you all know about this?
Yeah,
Long time ago.
I heard about it a few weeks ago, I was in shock.
Yeah. Well, for those who don't know, because there's lots of us here who might know about it, it was basically a South African artist put it together and said it was to show people what racism was and how it's continued. Now, just as a question here, do you think it was a good idea?
No. There was no better ways to show racism.
Well,
But in the guy that's doing it, does he think it was racism? Maybe he thought it was a sort of art. I'm not agreeing with him, but that's what he was thinking as a white man.
well, from what I gather, what he was basically saying was that it's toured already in Europe, and many people said it was very, very good and it showed people what racism really was about. Bearing in mind, there were people who look like me and you. Yeah? And a person once said, tour, wouldn't it be more better to do these things and put white people on show instead? Because obviously if we do it, then it's nothing new.
Yeah.
I did a bit of research on human zoos, and when I found out.
Go on.
Okay, I'm going to find out.
Oh, sorry, are you trying to say there's such thing as a human zoo?
Oh yes!
I thought that was only fiction from Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, here we go. Are you ready?
No.
Are you ready? 1841 in Crystal Palace.
Voila. Yep.
Oh yeah, can I get now? Alright.
One book.
Yeah, pen?
I have a pen. Yes.
Because they had to
Me, I got take dictation.
famous sort of thing in Crystal Palace, in it, back in.
Alright.
I'm not going to that place never again.
Actually, can I have my pins back, please?
Any favour. 1841.
Yep. Crystal Palace.
1841 in Crystal Palace exhibition. Rage.
Was that called a great exhibition?
Sorry.
Right. Now in there they had lots of small cages around the place. They were wide enough for a man to do this basically, and that. And on each part they had a name, a tag, and a tribe. People would walk past and throw food and Negro, and so on. That's 1841, yeah? Now we can go on right up onto the World's Fair in Paris in 1889. The Negro village where 400 people were displayed as a major attraction. 28 million people lined up to see this over 4 days.
Where was this? In what country was it?
Paris.
Paris. The 1900 World Fair. And one that I found out just recently, but I'll quickly say, you see where the Westfield is now? Do you know what was there before?
It was 600 group. It was a 600 group company, Unigate Milk,
Something office.
something else. No.
Do you know what was there at the turn of the century?
No.
Did you know it come like, the Bond example, Euro Disney.
Alright.
They had a thing called the Great European, at this time in Europe, it was all things about the empire. Henceforth you have what we call today White City. You know, if you go to White City, look at the names of the houses in the streets.
Because South Africa and all that.
This needs to affect people's Right. And sister, what we're debating on right now is the Human Zoo exhibition. Do you know about the Human Zoo? You hear about it, the Barbican?
Yeah.
Those pictures just there by your face?
Yeah.
Right. What we're debating on, was it a good idea or a bad idea, and is there a history behind it? I will continue. Right, basically we've gone back to some of the oldest human zoos which actually happened. The first one brought up was in 1841 at Crystal Palace, where they had a human zoo then. Yeah? One human zoo that people might know about. Has anybody here heard of Sergeant? Thank you, Mum. Has anybody, I'll ask you, because you're the youngest person here.
In an exhibition, did they just take the picture, or they're really there every day to just portray like human zoo?
Basically, it was a place where you walked in and you would see people like that sitting still, and they were showing the people what happened in slavery. The person who put it on was a South African artist who charged £20 entry. And the money didn't go to any slave commission. Obviously, he got fat on it. And this was going around Europe. Now, anybody here heard of, have you heard of, because Black History Month when you're in school, we're not, right? Have you heard of Sergeant Bartman? Has anybody heard of Sergeant Bartman here? Okay. Sergeant Bartman was what they called a Hottentot black woman. The Hottentot black women, if you know them, they had a very large gluteus maximus. That means bum bum. But the people who she was more or less extinct now. Because, if I can show you, her bottom rose up like this and came down.
I heard gluteus maximus.
I'm
joking.
Isn't that hence where the corsets and things came from?
Now, a lot of the European men in the slave period would go to Europe, to go to Africa, and they see these black women with gluteus maximus. Sounds better. They say, my town. I'll tell you what. So when they see that, they would go to Africa and they ain't coming back. Because it's like, wow. So in order to combat it, they invented the bustle. The bustle and the corset. You know, you see women with the dresses extra cut like that go down? With lots and lots and lots and lots of
because they did like whatever the woman, African woman look like.
Exactly.
And they come and invent the basque.
But bearing in mind, at that time, that African woman was not considered a human being, but a beast of burden.
Were we
burden to who?
We were savages, were we not?
We were savages.
We were savages. We still are.
As they said, when I think last week on slavery, I think it was in 1841 that they passed a law saying Africans were not human beings.
No, that was 1835. We were still subhuman.
America or England?
America, that would be America because we were still.
No, but thanks. Now, I like people like you.
Can even today? I mean, all this is news to me because I was born in Africa and raised in Africa. So all this I learned from my colleague when they're talking about slavery. I don't know any. I know slavery happened.
Okay.
I didn't see it happen.
Okay, I can give you a really short synopsis, yeah, and something you can all Google and find out for yourself, yeah.
But even today, I think black people they call themselves like they're nothing. Even today, and I don't know what made you believe that, because we don't believe that. We believe in African God and all that. We do not believe in any white supremacy or anything. We believe in the village chief. He's the one who go and bow down, give him the nice papaya that we've got. We do not believe in any white thing.
Which part of Africa are you from?
I'm from Cameroon.
Cameroon.
We see white like a stranger, like, you know, like the monkey in the bush as well. That's how when we see them just like the way they see you. But they took this opportunity because they grab you from Africa and they thought you were like something that can eat them or whatever, and they beat you up and they whatever. That is come from your ancestry and all that. And I've got a feeling that thinking is always in black people from the other side in their blood, because I haven't got that. I cannot right now, as I'm standing here, put me in jail or whatever, I cannot shake the queen hand and I put my head down, never ever.
However,
bless.
If you go to Ghana,
if
you go to Ghana, I went to Ghana, I went to a church in Ghana, and we wiped out the wall. So, and they're all, the women in the church, 95% were bleached. Yeah, 95% were bleached. That includes their children as well. Yeah? It was horrifying to see, yeah? Now,
what do they put in the church? White Jesus.
Yeah? Now,
sorry, I'm just gonna jump in on that lot. If you were to see black Jesuses in church, how many black people do you think would be in church?
very few.
Very few. They'd run.
Why even Jesus have to be represented in church?
Why is that? Why?
Why would they run? Because then we're not seeing Jesus as in the white.
So that means we find.
Yeah, but
that means we find white people more superior.
No, of course.
It's a
I find.
never see him as a colour.
That's why you're here.
You know?
And that's why you're here.
I never see him as a colour, pink, white, or ever.
If I went to the church, I'll give you an example. I went on the march recently for reparations. Yeah? Now there was over 3,000 to 4,000 people marching from Brixton to House of Commons and back. It got no TV representation whatsoever. Before that, I went to the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I thought, it's a black church. And I goes, there's a mark preparations. Oh, we don't think about those things when it comes. It's political. So I said, well, wasn't Jesus political too? Yes, but you know, I went to the Anglican church, Pentecostal church. None of them wanted to know. But you can guarantee if they turn around and give them that money, they're going to be top of the queue. So with myself, the reason you're here is because you have an interest who you are, where you came from, what you want to know. Majority of the people in church, they say, I've got Jesus, I don't need to know about Africa. And a lot, it's what I heard in Ghana, it's what stuck me to myself in Ghana. They said to me, it is a good thing that slavery came to Africa.
Oh dear.
Because if slavery never came to Africa, we wouldn't know about Jesus in the Gospels. And I've heard that on many occasions from men. I don't know that.
Can I talk?
Rubbish.
You've been in Ghana, you haven't been in the whole Africa.
No.
When you see these countries in Africa, you have got every country got clan. And every clan is got his weakness, and it's got his like your house, what you do in your house. Maybe you like pepper. In my house, I don't eat pepper. So you carry on eating pepper. And if, for example, somebody come who is blue, I haven't got anything against white people. I don't see them as white, I see them as people, full stop. I've got very good white friends, but we never saw each other as black or white. We respect each other as we are. If I see any person who disrespect me as black, I laugh and I pass because they're ignorant. Because at the end of the day, they will go in the hospital, they will check my blood, they put in their blood, to survive. So I just stop there. So those are weak clans you found in Africa, in Ghana. And most of the time, the weak people, black people in Africa and any country, they're in the same place believing in what the West brought to them and believing in that because they're poor in spirit. You could have millions, but when you're poor here, you're finished. You believe in things hanging on the wall. First of all, it's wrong to represent Jesus because none of us saw him. And then somebody decided that Jesus had the nose like this, the eye like this, long hair like this. No one here who represents Jesus today. He wasn't that handsome man we see all the time. I don't believe that.
The Bible say, I'm not, if I'm wrong, correct me, that he had skin that of burnt brass, hair that of lamb's wool.
Say that again?
And I think it's Revelation 12, I'm not sure. He had skin, because when the person with the lamb, in Revelation, had skin that of burnt brass and hair that of lamb's wool. I am an English guy with burnt brass skin yet.
But you see the problem. All what you're saying there, I don't even get what you're saying. My Jesus is in my heart.
No, but I'm not talking about what I think.
See what the Bible says.
This is from the New Testament, and depicting the image of Jesus Christ.
That's where we all go wrong. That's where most of black people go wrong, and even white people. You believe in what somebody says. You don't want to open your mind and say, let me think. I go to church all the time. Jesus is represent mixed race. Jesus is represent white. Jesus is black Jesus. Oh, I like that church. In my church, in Africa, there's no Jesus. There's nobody to represent on the world. I'm a Presbyterian. We do not kneel down. We do not do what the West told us to do. You sit down in the position you can. You pray to God you don't see. You shouldn't see.
Okay, what's it? Sorry.
I'm thinking of my train of thought. Where did that just go to? The thing is, what you'll find with a lot of West Indian black people, the Bible was written by man. So they've taken what they want and they've put it in the Bible. Not saying that it's right. Can't say that it's wrong because nobody knows.
Yeah, exactly.
What it is man's interpretation. And really and truly, when you're reading the Bible, you're meant to be making your own interpretations of the Bible, not taking word for word. And yes, man will lie with man, and this is an abomination and who's not this and who is this.
Yeah, it's up to the individual.
It is up to the individual
It's a guideline.
how we read, yeah, and what we read, yeah, because a lot of this, and Mary and Joseph. I was on the road the other day, and I was walking on the road, and I stopped to talk to a school friend, an ex-man, and he said to me, Mary and Joseph. I goes, well, listen. Before you talk to me about Mary and Joseph, I know Mary was a vestal virgin. Yeah.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. She lived in a vestal virgin, in a vestal home. Yeah. And as far as I was always, my mind was going, she was done by one of Constantine's men. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Not by Joseph, because Joseph was meant to be an old man, a very old man when they got together. When I said this to my friend, he went to me, Mary and Joseph were sweethearts from when they were young.
He was there. They were 16.
Yeah.
From primary school.
Yeah. And I thought to myself, Jesus Christ. I mean, what happened here? So many different stories have been, there's so many that I want to believe, so many can be believed. Yeah? As people, we must know where we hold God and the Lord. Yeah, the Lord God. Sorry, I didn't take your name in vain. Just haven't been to church in a while. No, not really. But you know, we must know for ourselves. It's not that we go and look to a picture and say, well, I must bow and say, yeah, I'm now preaching to God. You know, I can say in my head, you know, I love you, God. He knows.
Not everybody thinks like you.
No, not everybody can think like me. Yeah, I don't want everyone to think like me.
That's the way we all should think. The way you're thinking.
Yeah, but I want to be able to come to a place like this and be able to say openly, honestly, how I believe. My mum is a churchgoer. And clap and swing and swing and swing and dance. But let me tell you something. You see that the pastor, he's here 6 months of the year. The other 6 months, he's where he is, where it's he.
Look at the car he's driving.
Oh yeah.
Your mother's money.
Don't mess about.
Hallelujah.
Wasn't that? Do you know where collections come from?
Us.
No.
Oh, the word collection.
No, the original, where it came from, the collection of the church.
No.
1780 to 1492, the African Wars controlled Europe. They would come to England and kidnap the king. The only place that people could meet up was the church. They would do a collection in the church to raise the money to ransom to buy the king back.
But that was where supposedly blackmail came from. The word blackmail.
And then they use that, give the king what is King Caesar to what is for Caesar. And they twist it, they start to collect, you know, all the people money. You see, I'm not joking, you see with some weak people, I call them weak people, including my own mother. I don't think that she knew better. They will keep their money in the wrapper to give to the pastor, a church. And they will say, oh, men have given now 3,505 pounds. Women have to raise on their side and give. Pastor using the money. Pastor got lovely skin. All his children are in good school. The pastor wife is smiling nice all the time. And then my mom and my dad gone home. We have no petrol to put in the lamp because they put all the money today.
Now this goes kind of right back to where we are now, because for argument's sake, if you're Christian, don't follow shoes at Medina right by now.
Get you in the corner, don't worry.
The doorway, let her run. Yeah. We can then say, when we left Africa, did we leave Christianity? Or were we taught how to be Christians?
It was taught.
You know, when you left Africa,
I don't think Africa had religion.
You mean your ancestors?
But Ethiopia didn't get slavery because they remember the whole thing about when it was Queen Elizabeth, we're going to enslave them. They goes, why? Because they are cannibals and they do not know Jesus Christ, so we're going to Christianize them and we're going to civilize them. Ethiopia was a Christian nation, so they got a blind. Okay. But all the West African nations who were into like Alodimir, Yoruba, whatever, they were supposed to be pagans, so therefore they were slaved and Christianized. And I know for me, born in the Caribbean, well, born in England, grew up part of here, part of Caribbean, I thought to myself as a younger boy, well, Africa, man, they're into voodoo and obi and you know, I'm going there, but they're going to juju me. Then got older and realized that, hang on, it's only about nature, because the Orishas, Yemaya, is just about water. So it's a metaphysical aspect of the feminine, water. Then you're like, Shango was not about this man's going to come put fire and mirrors the money. Shango was a metaphysical aspect of war and strength. So it wasn't that you worshipped, it was an ancestral thing that you revered. I learned that later on. But at the same time, as you know, no matter what's put out, some people will take it for its dark side, and some for its light side. In other words, some people will say, yeah, karma, I'm going to do some wickedness to you, and flings egg on your door, whatever. There's another person who will use it for his healing purposes. That's in Christianity. So to me, I'm not saying that I'm right, but I'm saying that to me, a lot of the things that before we became Christians, we were taught by the missionaries and the pastor that the people before you were dumb, stupid. Christianity are a good thing for us, because within Christianity, many of us were taught to actually, for want of a better word, bastardize our own traditional beliefs and take on board something which is alien to where we came from.
Everything that happened in the world is good and is bad. For example, I would say Christianity in Africa, I do not know about other places. It was good because we found this person poor, not a lot of hygiene, because they came with hygiene and all that. And they came as, yeah, every time you're a Christian, you come in Africa, let me tell you that in my country, you will have to build a church and you have to build a school. Every next to church there's school.
Hold on. Who came with cleanliness? Who came with hygiene? The Christians?
Yes.
No,
it's true. I have to tell you that's the truth. Unfortunately,
like I say what you're saying.
That is the truth. Because in the Bible they start to say circumcision and whatever, all these things. Wash yourself. 40 days.
Yeah. What? Like what? Cleanliness is next to godliness.
So,
what is that they say? No.
So circumcision made you clean.
Christianity in Africa, you will study more again. It came with good things. It came with all that organization and all that. Because some children in part of Africa didn't have school or anything. This is the reality. For us to manage to be able to read and write. The first missionary that came in Africa, they built a church and they built a school in very, very far away villages and all that. And
okay, can I answer that question? Do you mind if I answer the question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'm a great civilization, yeah, with brick walls, library, museum. My history has been recorded for. I'll start again. Excuse me? Would you answer it for me or sure?
What's that there?
What are you going to say? Go for it. Okay. If I'm wrong, please put me
out. Don't worry. I got to push scared.
I'm going back to before European expansion in Africa. I'm going back to the days of the Songhai dynasty or Timbuktu. Yeah. Now Timbuktu, where Cameroon was, is all around that Songhai dynasty. Now at that point now, England is in the Dark Ages. They've got the plague, they've got the Black Death.
Dirty.
There's no sewers.
Nasty.
Africa at that time had sewers. They had saunas.
That was the Moors.
I'm getting it.
Okay.
They went to Spain. And they showed Europeans how to wash, how to cook, how to clean. From 711 AD to 1492, 700 years, we ran things. That's why in Othello, in Shakespeare, why this rich black guy with the richest man's woman? But get back to the essence now. Now, I live in a big stone place with a library, with medication, with washing, and I get invaded and invaded. So when I get invaded, what do? I build a smaller stone place and a smaller library. And a lot of my wisdom becomes mythology. That keeps going on until eventually I've gone from a wooden place to a nomad. Why? Because I have to, like the Fulanis, I have to keep on moving because I've been invaded. So therefore, a lot of the things that I had as knowledge, wisdom, understanding has been left. Only knowledge I have left now is when I've been colonized and what I have been taught. Very few African nations that I've seen, I've not done that much traveling, I've done goodbye Africa, North and West and East Africa. And I think to myself that when I go into the classrooms, no education there is being taught from an African standpoint. Because most of the African teachers were educated in SOAS, in universities in London. So they don't reach, if in Senegal, yes, Senegal, a lot of the teachers there are coming from an African standpoint. But most of them are coming from a missionary standpoint. Mm-hmm. So therefore, we're looking to the European who will come and civilize us. But they're not saying that it was we who civilized Europe in the first place.
You see, missionary that came in Africa as is not completely a bad thing. I have to tell you that. Even if it was not missionary, if it was any other human being who came with a good heart, it was not a bad thing. Because these people, they actually believe in something. And hold on, let me finish. They actually believe in something. They had that thing called Bible. And they had in their mind business. They didn't come for one thing only. Mm-hmm. And remember, they had this will of discovering place and been doing things. So they came with all these three things. Without missionary in Africa, the time they came, I have to tell you that you will agree with me or not, we developed a little bit better. Do not answer every question that happened in the world with anger. If you take the anger, you see the reality. You don't see what happened to them, the sewage and whatever. They developed their sewage. Today, look at their sewage become better. Our sewage that we had from the beginning is still the same. But we've got this capacity of being able to talk to each other.
Yeah, but Mama, what you have to realize, you're saying that, and to one sense I agree, yeah, because it's not everything is bad, because like my friend said it, right? People look at it for the right side and the wrong side, the dark.
Don't look at it in a
hold on. They sort of look at it, you know, the good and the bad, the light and the dark. But what you have to realize before all of that, what you have to realize and what you have to understand is that we were the ones, right, who taught them first. And because they came in and they did not want to sort of realize that we knew and we taught them, so what they did, it's like cutting a tree when it's growing. You cut until you got to the roots and then you pull it out. And then you want to replant that root and then make it grow how you want it to grow. That's not how it happened. We were the one who did it first. That's what we have to realize. We were the one who actually educated them. We were the one who actually made them open their eyes and be civilized. We have to accept that as a people before we could say this and that. Don't get me wrong. Yes, it does happen. There's good and bad, light and dark in everything. And sometimes being, you know, invaded has got, maybe it's right side and it's wrong side, but what we have to accept is that we were the ones who actually colonized them. We were the ones who educated them.
You colonized who?
The whites. Come on.
You see, your problem is between black and white.
No,
it's not.
Can I step in a second? This is not about black and white. It's about reality. It's not about black and white. Understand this, yeah? Me and you. I come to your house, yeah? Mm-hmm. You got a lovely house. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. I come into your house, I beat you up, and I broke up your daughter, and I mash up the house, yeah? And then I come later on, again, now my son comes later on to your house and sees how it mash up and then build up a wall for you.
What?
He builds a wall around your house for you,
okay,
and then gives you medicine and gives you God. Did I do you any favors?
Well, I'm not going to answer until I say what I have to say. Missionary did not do that. Missionary going to Africa, sorry to tell you, they did not grab people, put them in the boat and sell them. They didn't. They came and they sat down. They built churches. That's the story is there up to now. For what I know. I don't know all Africa.
And
I don't know all Africa.
One more question.
They raped our young boys.
The rape is everywhere.
No,
we're talking about the missionaries.
We're talking about missionaries. Missionaries
everywhere. That is a human. That is something somebody doing.
That is a nastiness they brought with them. Yeah, that is the dirt that they brought with them. Yeah, when they sent them all from what's it called, to Australia, and they said, hey, listen, all them people,
the convicts.
Yeah. Send them all out of there. Don't want them. Send them to Australia. Yeah, when in England itself, man, woman, dog, pig, horse, everybody used to sleep together.
In one house.
In one room.
One room.
Yeah?
And that's the key.
And then they wondered, where did smallpox come from?
The name was to bathe.
Because you were with the animals, you slept with the animals, you were top with the animal. You looked on the animal, you kissed the animal.
Pause a second. Why is that funny? Because we think it's not true.
What did you say?
My friend is still sleeping with the pig, yes? The pig, they cut the dog. They love the animals. They have to sleep with them. They see them the way you don't see them. Yes, you see, in Africa, animal don't come with the dog.
Exactly. Exactly. One word.
You just said it.
How can those same people
Bring the hell out of the dog and take care of it.
But then how can you then say, but Mama,
A dog don't stay in the Caribbean.
But then
I know in the Caribbean, right? I was so shocked to know that dog don't go into your house. It's just about go on the porch. It's just about, and if it goes on the porch, it's because maybe it's getting its food, and when it finishes its food, it goes back where it belongs.
Joke aside, today, what do you think? Do you really think that we should treat dogs and cats badly?
No, it's not about that. It's just about.
Listen. Sorry. Yeah?
Standards.
My son was bitten badly by dogs in our estate. I had to end up poisoning them dogs, yeah, because they bit my son. Yeah, they weren't mine, they was the neighbours of mine, but I had to end up anyway.
I will do the same.
At the end of the day, to get over his fear, whereas he would run into the road rather than walk past a dog, he bought a dog. He bought a staff dog. I never buy no dog. He bought a dog and brought it to my home. That dog has been there 7 years. He's still there. Yeah? The dog's still there. The dog's still in my house, yeah?
There's in my house in his bed.
No! Listen. See my house, yeah? My house, my floorboard, I don't want to smell dog.
That's personal, isn't it?
Yeah? That is personally, I don't want to smell dog. I don't want no one to come to my house and smell dog. In fact, the dog should be outside. What is the dog doing inside? But my son needed a dog to combat his fear, so I allowed him to have a dog. Now the dog's in my house.
The son gone and the son
down dog. The down dog is
I'm still waiting for my son to move out. When he moves out, he takes a dog with him. You understand?
But the problem with dog,
Let me just say one thing, just to go back into it now. Right? You said earlier on that these Europeans brought cleanliness, what?
No, sir.
Health and things to Africa. Yeah? Now we're saying to you, yeah, well, not just to you, but to the floor, because it's an open debate, yeah, that Europe never knew cleanliness.
Really?
Yep.
They never.
Alright, question. Name me when there was a Great Plague. in Africa. Forget about Ebola, we know that's got a patent number on it. Right? Let's go back to, say,
Malaria.
400 years ago. Yeah?
Just malaria.
No, 400 years ago. I want to go back before the Europeans' expansion into Africa.
Before the Europeans got there.
Name me when we had a major plague disease in Africa.
You didn't.
Before.
Can I say something?
You may speak, madam.
Even if it had happened, it was not recorded, so you will not know.
It has been recorded.
It has been recorded.
No. You're saying it hasn't been recorded. Why?
Well, you cannot go as back as when Europeans were not there.
Why?
Because things start to get recorded when they get there.
Jerry.
Sorry. This problem of European or American or whatever going to Africa, see it this way, yeah? I'll come to your house. You've got a medium house like this one. Then I say to you, I don't like the clothes you're wearing. Change them, because where I come from, men wear skirt and shirt. The choice is yours to change. Not the influence of me bringing medicine and tobacco. And I say to you, change the chair. But those chairs, every time your child gets on the chair, they fall down, they die. And you pray your God. You know the God with the herbs and all that. And the child keep dying. So I say to you, this thing is dangerous. Take it, put at the back garden. And child don't die anymore. So this missionary, the difference between missionaries and the white man who came to grab the black man to sell, they're two different things. They're not the same thing. I'm sorry to tell you.
So that's
okay,
why.
Right. Let me go back to what I want to say. Hang on. Let me go back to what you just said, right? You said, stop it.
I know everyone had a preset, so I have to go and do something.
Right, from the very beginning, because you said, when teacher asked, when we were 400 years ago, what have you, name one of the plagues and what have you, okay. You said it wasn't recorded before the white men and what have you. Yeah. The only reason why, right, they started recording it because they wanted, again, basically to manipulate us. They wanted to record it how they want to be remembered, not by what actually happened. That's why.
And we also say that during slavery, they did not want people to talk to each other. It was separation, therefore you cannot record anything. You cannot talk to your sister. In
Africa, it's the one that they took. In Africa, or the one they took.
In Africa, in total.
The one they took is yours.
In Africa,
excuse me.
No.
Hang on a minute, to add to what you said, like we're not recording things, yeah?
Yeah.
There are manuscripts in Timbuktu, on maths, geology, science, medicine that date back before 711 AD. There are maps which map out the world before the Moors again. The Moors.
The Moors taught maths, alchemy, everything that we study now.
Before Europe even knew about it.
What the Moors went with, everything they taught everybody else.
And if you're a person, Mama, to say this to you, if you're a person who advocates missionaries, that means, no disrespect to you, I'm saying this is just my opinion here, if you're going to throw water upon your candle, right? That if you're advocating the missionaries, then they've done their job. Because the job of the missionary was to teach. Everything you learned in Africa is backward. Just like, I give a really good missionary for the Catholics, and nobody knows he's black. Saint Augustine, head of the Catholic Church, was born in Hippo in Numidia, a black man. The first 3 popes of Rome were black men. Hang on a minute. Now, he said that his background was savage. And until he read the works of the Roman Cicero, he never knew God. So after that, he disrespected all his ancestral works and exalted Rome. Bearing in mind, look at Hannibal in Carthage. Rome's greatest enemy was Hannibal. Carthage was the most beautiful city on the earth, the enemy of Rome. When Rome got in power, what did they do? They broke it. I've been there, but they're called Tunisia today. Yeah? They broke it right down. The only thing left is the amphitheatre. They sold every man, woman and child into slavery and broke it down. What Rome done then, they wrote the blueprint for every single thing they do now. That's why America has a Senate, just like Rome. That's why America says, we don't care what you believe in, just pay your taxes. It is the same thing, and the main thing is this: they want to hear us say Africans didn't teach anybody nothing without the white man. Because by doing that, I'll say, why am I going to respect her and her and her and her? There's black people, what can they teach me? I've got to go to the white pastor because he knows. And in fact, I'll go to the black pastor because he will teach me about a European way of thinking. But as I say to you again, I'll say to you, tell me one disease before African, before you said it wasn't recorded, yes, they've all been recorded. Because it was the same Africans who came over here in 1662 to help them fight the plague. There are cases of Moors who are curing the plague in England.
Yeah, Moors.
From Moor means blackamoor, which is Africans from North Africa. Before they look like Arabs, you've seen them now. I think about when Moroccans look like me, blackamoors. When Libyans, when the biggest city on the earth at that time had a bordering wall of 250,000 miles of West Africa, it was one wall. But because we have only known the education put down by us, by our colonial, and by our, what do you call them again, that man, the priest, what do you call it again?
Like a halo.
Yeah, that used to go over the head, and that's a pagan symbol.
A halo?
Yeah.
A halo.
What is a halo, do you know?
It's a hoop.
That's a glove.
No. Halo? What is Stonehenge? No, Stonehenge in Hastings. What is it? Stonehenge, underneath Stonehenge, they found Egyptian ring money because it was built by Africans. Did you know that? You don't get that in church. But anyway. What Stonehenge is, if you go to Egypt, to Dendera, it is what they call a star chart. Yeah. Because if you go, you can see by it where Scorpio is, where Libra is, where Saturn is.
It marks the stars then.
Right, so when you're going to plant stuff, you know. Because at one part of the year, it raises here. You go, now it's time to plant, the harvest. That then becomes behind the head because it's the halo. Even everything we learn from Christian, I hear it now. Can I go there?
Yeah, go on.
I did this research. Have you ever heard of Ptolemy Philadelphus?
No.
Have you ever heard of Ptolemy Serapis?
No.
Can I go there?
Yeah.
I'll go there.
All these things you're saying, yeah? All these things
Whatever I'm saying to you, you can
they're
find out
like
from,
Bible.
you can find out from your pastor and you can find out in the British Library. Hold on, let me finish and hear where I'm coming from. Right. Ptolemy Serapis. Right. Alexander the Great has conquered Africa. In round things now. He's got, a femininity problem, so he didn't have a great era after that. After he died, his general that was left was called Ptolemy the First. He said, I want to be a god like the Egyptians. Yeah? So he went to the Melkite Coptic priests in Egypt. Yeah? They're not Christians. And he said, make me a god. Now at that time, we had Ossa, who they call Osiris, Isis, and Horus. Today we call them Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. That's another story. Yeah? He goes to make me a god like them. He goes, come make that god, you're a man. Okay, we'll make you a god. So they called him Serapis. Ossa, meaning highest intellect. Apis, bull, the most loved. Soterian, which means to be worshipped. So now you got the highest, most loved worshipped. He is worshipped all over the known European world. And the people who worship him are called the bishops of Christ. The statue of him is in the British Museum. It looks just like that guy, Jesus. No difference. Hold on a minute. When he dies, his son, called Ptolemy Philadelphus, opens up the Library of Alexandria. At that point, all the books on the earth are worth more than gold. All the information from Nubia is going up the Nile into the Library of Alexandria. From there comes the very first version of the Bible called the Septuagint version of the Bible, written by Greek-speaking Jews. 325 AD, the Council of Nicaea, you will not find, don't wait for it, do your own research. Try and find the word Jesus or Yahweh before the year 325 AD in any book. In any book. British Library included, in any book. At 325 AD came with a guy called the Arian sect, a brother called Arius. And Arius says, but hang on, what do you mean we got to worship this guy called Jesus? You can't worship him, he's just a man. They were called, what they call them, because if you look at all the old books, the Dead Sea Scrolls, they're not looking for Jesus, they're looking for the preacher of righteousness. They want him to be the Hebrews or Israelites. It's only at 325 AD with Constantine, the Council of Nicaea, that what we know today as Christianity was born. The head of that table was Saint Augustine, the head of the Roman Empire. Don't wait for it. I'm just giving you what I found out. Now, don't get me wrong. I said, me as a younger man, I worked in the church. I taught Bible lessons. I was an altar boy. You diss Jesus Christ, you're going to fight. You understand? But I'm not saying to you that I'm right. But I'm saying that every person has to take a path and find it for themselves. And I think my thing was, a lot of people who love the Bible, the pastor, you're taught, don't do no research because pastor do it for you. Or father, I don't know who's my calling father, but still, he does it for you. So a lot of people who advocated this, the black people who said it was really, really good. Yeah? Those were mostly Christians. Because they said, you know what, if Master hadn't come to Africa with Christianity, he had to do this in order for us to know Jesus said it wasn't a bad thing. So we come right back to the full center now. When we're saying that we're going to big up the missionaries had a purpose. Remember Shaka Zulu? They didn't come in with the army for Shaka Zulu, did they? They didn't bring the army for Zulu. They brought in a soldier, a priest, and a doctor. 3 men to conquer Shaka Zulu. Why? Because the soldier came and said, hey, Shaka Minya brethren, look, see I gone there? Wow, give thanks. Boy, I read this. The doctor. Do you like that history of Shaka Zulu because he was a strong man? No, it's not about that. I'm talking about it's not about him being a strong man. It's about how the man was manipulated by the missionary, by the priest, and by the gunman. Because he thought one thing, he could live forever. Because the priest gave him a castle and told him that he made a great man. The priest said to him, you know what? All them man is funny. Look at the power of my guns. And look who backs my guns? That guy called Jesus. Yeah. So when I get into battle now against the other tribes, I've got the white man's gun and I've got the white man's God. Look, come in and Shaka. He gave them people the same time in Ethiopia. With the priest at the time when he said, you know what? From this day forward now, we're going to a man called 10 seconds, I remember his name now. 3 shipwrecked sailors from Greece in Ethiopia. When they came in, Zana was the king at the time, and they said that you must keep these men the respect of kings. Before that, all the kings in Ethiopia were ordained in Axum. When the king died, they brought it to Alexandria and changed Christianity in Africa forever. What it was, but not how it is today. All we know about our history so far is what Europeans have taught us. We're not reading our, do you read Diop? J. Rogers?
I don't read nothing.
That's what I mean, but you read your Bible?
No.
Okay, what do you read?
Nothing.
Do you watch TV?
Because if I have to answer you is, you love your history. The history is in the past. It just makes you feel okay to know what happened to your ancestors. Your auntie 3 years ago, 5 years ago. It's nothing to do with nothing today. No, let me finish. Let me finish. Let us say, for example, because I don't know you, but I'm only here.
No problem, sister.
If you take the history, what happened to your ancestors, how they beat them, they killed them, they did all the bad things to them. It's true. Any time they took people from Africa, they brought them there, they suffer the way you don't even want to look at in that history. That is the truth. But I told you, me and you are completely different. I'm somebody who's born between like light, love. I don't know anything you heard your ancestors telling you story after story after story, which today, when I'm watching it in the movie, which is simplified for human to be able to watch. Because what they're showing in the movie is 100 times better than what happened really. I close my eyes, I got tears coming. It's true, that's what you're living. That's not my reality. That is true. History is not important for me. Because history was my dad yesterday, my mom yesterday. They're dead, they're finished. They cannot wake up to come and help me. But I can see a lot of my cousin, I call West Indian, my cousin, brother and sister, stuck in the history. Love to hear. All what you want to hear is the pain that happened to you. Let me finish. I'm trying to find out what happened in Roma. It was a black man underneath this who did that, and the white man is a waste of time. If you could relax and put the history, sometime lock that in the room, write it, leave it, for the children like this to read tomorrow. Today, you see, all my children come from Africa. They were not even born here. They're wrapped up with white girl, white boys. So if I keep saying these people that got this white skin, they came in Africa, they took my cousin, my sister, they brought them, they beat them like what I see in the movie today, somebody telling us history through the media. What kind of life am I going to have with my mixed race grandchildren?
Okay, one question. One question. You said history, right? You said history. Forget that. Forget the history and what have you. Perfect example. What exactly are you leaving for your daughter, which is right there? That's you said forget history. Whatever's in the past. So you're saying to me, right, the way that you're living your life and the experiences that you've got and stuff and things like that, you're basically what I'm getting from you is that has no effect. Your daughter Esther won't learn anything from that because it's in the past. So she has to live with what's happening now.
Why she has to learn things from my past? One second. You asked me a question. What do you think that my mom and dad leave me with? My mom and dad. Hold on. My mom and dad left me with.
So basically, you're saying that your mom and dad didn't teach you nothing.
No, you're not getting it.
But you're saying leave history behind.
Let her answer.
Leave, you say what you're leaving to your daughter. I don't need to leave nothing to her. She's got the whole world. She learned to read and write. She can learn herself. I told you my mom was one of the people that used to give money to church. I don't.
Exactly, because you learn not to give money to your mom.
My mom told me to do that. She said, cover your head when you're going into church. And I revolt. I say, I'm not doing all that because I'm not seeing clear. And I want my daughter to be like me tomorrow. Don't let me leave you nothing because it's wrong.
But you still learn from your mom. You still learn from your mom. You learn what not to do from her because she was doing it.
Even asking the wrong person. Princess.
Nice one.
What have you learned from your mother that will take you further in life?
For your next generation.
That's what I'm coming
to. Answer what you feel.
Feel that. Not because your mom said, don't be shy.
No, don't be scared of me.
Don't be scared of me.
Don't be shy.
I can help you. I'm not telling you that when the tree kills a woman before yesterday,
yes.
And what did I was telling you in the kitchen?
He said if anything happens, just move on.
Move on. Don't look back.
So hang on.
Just move. I'm teaching her exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
You're teaching her.
You're teaching her.
Pause. just now,
I'm teaching her.
I'm not talking.
Okay. I am teaching her. Nobody in here who has parents, whether they be a good example or a bad example, did not learn from that example. Because when you see my dad, I walk like my dad, I talk like my dad, but at the same time, if I think about him, I never liked. And the things about him, I loved. So we learn through, people don't learn by what you say, they learn through example. Now whether you like it or not, she'll be watching you, and the things she'll admire about you, and she'll say, boy, if her child, just say if she's naughty, you might say to her, hey, won't like to know. Let's just say you do that. When she gets older now, and her child misbehaves, she'll be thinking, boy, you see my mother? She would give you some licks, you know. I just want it. Yeah. So therefore, even like all of us now, most of us grew up in an era where we all got lash. Yeah? And we've all got children around us, and sometimes when they get rude, we think, boy, we want to just rock you up and about, boy, the neighbour gets somebody to go for a child line for me. And some of us will tell our children straight, you can't go car child line, I'm a boss head anyway. The point I'm making is, we all, whether we like it or not, are examples of our parents, because how on earth did we learn to be parents unless we studied our parents?
Did you say unless we study?
Study our parents.
Who brought the study?
But sometimes,
Who brought the study?
What do you mean study?
Who brought the study?
Study my parents.
To you.
To me. No, when I say study, I mean observing my parents' example.
Your parents.
This is the problem. This is my problem that I'm having with you.
Okay.
I want you to talk to me about the near past, not the very far past.
Okay,
because the very far past that you are wasting your time to study, travel the world, look at which kid did what, this kid did. I feel pity for you as a person.
Pause. I'll say why.
No, let me finish before opposing. I want you, because you could do so much from your mom, dad, and up to you. Don't go far behind to Pharaoh and missionary.
Mama.
It's for your own pleasure. It's like watching TV.
You forget one small thing. What made England Great Britain?
What have you got with England? Your problem with England, my problem is with France.
Let me finish.
Your problem is with England. Why are you not getting it?
I haven't finished. Let me finish.
My problem is with France. Your problem is with English.
Okay.
Hang on. There's a question. Wait.
You're not talking about France. You're not talking about America. I've been hearing English.
I'm trying to finish. You won't let me finish.
No, because her country was colonized by the French.
I'm getting there, but let me finish.
And not the English.
Let me finish.
That's why she had.
I'm going to say to you, what made Britain Great Britain? What made France great? What made Belgium great? What made America great? Do you know what it did?
Spain.
All of them let me finish before you jump on the show again. All of them in their countries have universities, museums and churches which belong to their country. They make sure their children go to university to learn how they went and manipulate the whole world to make their country become Great France, Great Britain, Great Belgium. And by doing that, they do one thing. In order for us to manipulate them, we've got to do 4 things. 4 rules of conquest. In France, in Italy, in Belgium, America. Kill, burn, rape, pillage. Those are the 4 rules that put Africa in the place where it is today. I land in your country, I kill off every single male there, which means the end of his genetic history and survival. Burn. Whatever makes him see great and wonderful, I'll burn that history. It no longer exists. Pillage. Whatever is great of his, I take and put it into my British museum or my Louvre museum and say, this is my thing. We were the Egyptians, we were the Africans, we were the Moors. After that, I rape. I make sure I put my seed into all the women and make sure all the men that are left are unemployable. Therefore, that strong African man is in the boogie shop today. So therefore, the black woman would rather say, you know what, I'd rather go and find John Smith in the office. Eventually now, what is the civilization? What you see in Ladbroke Grove today. All the men are in the bookie shop. All the mothers are single parents. Most women say, you know what, I don't want a man in a bookie shop. I want to get John Smith, who's a estate agent down the road.
Can I
just stabilise?
Tell you why? Yeah, why I want him to go back to as far as he goes back. Yeah, so that youngsters like this young lady will learn that she walked the earth as a queen. As a young black woman, she walked the earth as a queen. Black women walked the earth as kings and queens. We were not just slavery. We were not just enslaved. You understand? Because we do not, her age, yeah, we're not respecting each other. There was a time I'm not African. What do you mean I'm African? I'm not African. I'm an African woman. My parents are West Indian. Yeah? But I'm an African woman.
I do understand when you're talking I do understand the pen. So the pen that you're not saying is here on your throat, which I didn't leave on that pen. I do respect that.
Yeah.
But if we keep saying every day, peace, peace, when the peace is going to come? When? If we keep, if at every meeting,
they are, which is why don't recognize who they are, where we're going and where we're coming from.
Sorry, darling. Our kids don't know who they are. Yeah, they don't know where they're coming from. They don't know where they're going.
You give me the right. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Watch this, Princess. Hi, I'm Mr. Rude. How are you? Right. I'll ask you a question.
Did you want to die?
No, it's okay. This is easy. It's really easy. I want you to name me three English kings or queens.
One named Henry. Sorry.
Queen Elizabeth.
One.
Queen Victoria.
Two.
One more. You could do a king as well.
Yeah, Henry. Kings too. All right. Name me some great European civilizations. You like Romans, so you know. You know what I mean? Civilization. Name me some great European people in history that you might know of. Kings, queens, you know, leaders, people.
Prime ministers.
Yeah. Do you know any?
Come on, so you
go to school, and in school you've done Roman history, haven't you? Yeah. You done it in school in Tudor, didn't you? You're Victorians too.
She knows.
Oh, she might talk to her. Let her pick her. Right. Mum, the point I'm making is this.
I know the point.
I'm going to make it anyway. Yeah. The point I'm making is this, yeah? She has been educated in this country to know their civilization. She has been taught, no, more so, to exalt their civilization. But if I said to her now, name me 3 black queens, do you know any?
Nefertiti.
I'm not asking you. Name me, and you should know his whole history. No, you should know his whole history. Okay. Name me 3 black kings. Name me 3 black civilizations. Bearing in mind, our history goes back to 240 million BC. European one only goes back to 20,000 BC.
But then the teacher.
20,000 years.
Because that's the time Adam and Eve sinned.
No, I'm talking about no. Mum, the oldest African skull is called Dinkinesh Lucy, which is 2.5 million years old. The oldest Caucasian skull was found in Mount Caucasus in Asia, 20,000 years old. 40,000 BC, African man first on the Remordi went into Africa. We've got a whole heap of great history, but she don't know that.
Can I help you?
I'm going to finish right here. Yeah. She doesn't know it because you don't think it's important for her to know it because she has to do it now. So therefore, all she will know is what the European has taught her to know.
You're wrong because when I say there's a debate, she said to me, I'm going.
Good girl.
I'm going. She just doesn't want to talk because then we were all sitting like this. Then she said, I'm going to ask, why is only Black History Month in 1 month? Why
It can be every day. You can make it every day. Every day you learn something.
For her,
make it every day.
For her, you're wrong. It's me who is in a, maybe you will say in the wrong path. Because I don't want to know. I want peace. But these children, black kids growing in England, I don't know if they drink that from the water. Because that's what I'm thinking. I don't know if they smoke it on the street.
Mom, you know why? You know why?
It's my son who was born in Africa, I never showed them anything to do with the past or whatever. I love the past. By the way, just to tell you, my dad was tortured by French people. So don't tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. But I love the past in the cupboard. I want peace and I want to live my life. But God gave me a little bit of time on earth and I have to enjoy to the max.
Yeah, but mommy, I don't want to
enjoy life. It's still not about your history.
No matter what country anybody comes from, yeah, they will always deserve blacks. They will always have something against black people. What is it? No matter where they come from, no matter where they come from, they have an angst against black people. What is it? It doesn't matter if you're from Spain, you could be from
because it's the fear of seeing two different colors.
Why? Why should you be scared of me?
Should I be frightened of this colour? Should I be frightened of this colour?
No, I know. Look, this is what you should do. Because in your mind,
so in your
personal mind, you know you're black. That is why when somebody is white, cough or do something, you say, oh, he can see me as black. If you don't think like that. I do not think that a black person. I think like a human being who can swim, who can live, who can do whatever. I don't see black, I don't see white. I'm living on earth. I've got the right to live on earth. Not only on one country, on any country I wish to live. If I support the women.
And how are you treated no matter which country you go to live in? Listen, my kids went to Spain. My kids went to Egypt. The same thing, they want to take pictures. What is it? What is it? Because I'm a black woman, you want to take pictures of me? What are they calling
I've been in a trend from Wimbledon to Notting Hill Gate. This grandma and grandpa traveling with their grandchildren at my university coming is cold. And I see these two kids coming in the train like this.
To who? To you?
To me.
Oh.
Yes.
And I tell you something else, because you may think that I'm born only with silver spoon, I don't know anything. Today, if you hear my story, if I want to open, I will not be shaking hands in anybody who is white. As mixed race will not come in my house, any white blood will not come. Because the way they did to my dad, fighting for his country, saying, this country, white man, get your hand off this. And that's my blood.
Yeah, but as you said,
there's time where I have to find peace to live on.
You just said to me, hold on a minute. You just said to me, you don't care about the past, it's only about the present. But hold on a second. You said to me just now, yeah? All those things in the past don't matter, it's all about the present and being a human being. However, me and Europeans today, because of what they've done in the past, that is a hypocritical statement.
No, I don't take that in my life. That I'm just trying to tell you, don't see me as if I'm completely body, bong. No. I've got a very dark past, but it was not me. It was my dad. And that's what he wanted. He wanted to fight the white man in his country. And whatever happened. And I want to live my life on earth differently.
Okay.
In peace.
Let me ask you a question then, yeah?
Yeah.
An open question to the floor, yeah?
I want to say something after as well.
An open question to the floor, yeah? Can a black person be racist?
Absolutely. Anybody can be racist.
Hang on a minute. For those
it's getting hot in here.
A black person can be racist, raise your hands.
Anybody can be racist.
Alright? Right, I'm going to be up for this. Good. What is the foundation of racism? Can we all put an opinion? I want to hear one at a time, please. From this side.
Oh, we now have one.
Alright.
Isn't it just about to be passionate about your race
Your
and
beliefs.
culture and
Okay.
your beliefs?
Yeah.
Would you?
I agree with her.
So what is that?
What is your...
No, I say I agree with her because it sort of stems from being passionate and to defend what you believe in, what you think is right.
Okay, that's the foundation, yeah?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yes. What are you asking me now? What makes
What is the foundation of racism? What is racism based on?
Jealousy. No, racism is based on ignorance.
Okay, you say ignorance.
I say jealousy.
You would say?
I said being against a race.
You would say? You got opinions here?
Come on. Yeah, come on, you've been quiet all night.
What is the foundation of racism to you?
Judging someone by the amount of melanin in their skin.
Okay. What would you say?
Well, when you see someone as different to you, so you just don't like them and discriminate them.
Okay.
I haven't got a clue. I haven't even checked in the dictionary.
No problem.
Well done.
You, sir?
Loving my own people.
Okay. You?
Having the idea that different groups are either inferior or superior.
Okay. Alright. My opinion, not that I'm right here, I heard a woman say this once and I thought very profound. To me, racism is based on power.
Yes.
Right. Now, this is why I don't think I can be racist. I can be prejudiced.
Yes, you can.
I can't be racist. I'll show you why. I'm a black person, and let's just say you're a white person. What do you? You should tell me somebody else. Right. Let's have that. Now, let's say this.
Yeah.
Now, she white, I'm black. Right? If I don't like her, can it affect her job? No. Can it affect her housing? Can it affect her health?
No.
No. Because I have no power to affect her change. Now, if she's white and she doesn't like me because of my colour, can it affect my job?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. My life.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Because you are in her country. Simple as that.
In Africa, it makes no difference.
No. No.
Ebola, hello, it's got a pattern.
No. Ebola is a sickness.
Let me finish.
No.
Come on.
Actually, I'll chip in. It is the same in Africa. You go there and people.
You have different skin colour, different tones.
But they'll take the opinion of a white person
more than a black person.
Yes. No, I experienced this last year. When I went to Africa, I experienced it this year, and I think racism. What was the question? What is it?
The foundation
is not understanding where someone else is coming from. So ignorance is a massive factor.
So would you say it's based on power?
Of course it is.
Right. Right.
It's ignorance.
Because we feel, is that because we feel that the white man is more powerful than the black man?
No, but the power to effect change. If I am black, nothing I can do
will change.
Look, that's an example. You got the rabbit and you got the fox. The rabbit knows why he don't like the fox. Because the rabbit's been the fox's dinner since time immemorial. The fox knows that's dinner. Yeah? So now, you cannot say to the fat rabbit, you know what, you should go and hug the fox, man. Because the rabbit knows, hang on a minute, he wants to eat me. The fox would be a fool to hug the rabbit.
How dare you put yourself that you're a fox and the other somebody else is rabbit?
No, the point I'm making is the reason why I use.
No, I do not accept that.
How can I explain why I use it?
No, I don't even want to hear that. Because in Cameroon, let's go and visit Cameroon. If you are white, you do wrong, you have got 24 hours in the plane straight away. All this rape you say, you do not rape anyone in Africa, in missionary or whatever, unless we don't know. If we know you are in the plane straight away, that's what I told you. Some clan in Africa, they're weak. You're weak. You're weak in your head, thinking that you are rabbit.
I will tell you why this is what you're doing now. I have no. Hang on.
If I'm in my country,
I'm going to argue with you, right? I'll tell you why. I have customers in my shop who come from Cameroon, yeah? These are young black men from Cameroon. You know how they leave the country? They have to wait for old European women to come to the country. Yes. They're called rent-a-dreads. They live on the beach. These men can
but
get...
everybody do that to get paper. Come on. We're
Exactly.
It's different.
No, it's not different.
No, listen.
They have the power to effect change in Cameroon.
Listen, even if you go to America, whatever, young men sleep with older women to have paper. When they get paper, what happens?
But you know, Mom,
when they get the paper,
Mom,
what happens?
You're right.
It's like you're using the blackboard to write something.
But
when you finish, you wipe it. That is a complete different situation.
You know what? In America, they have more opportunities to get out the country. In Gambia and Cameroon, the opportunities...
Why they even want to travel for start? Haven't they got through?
Why are you here?
Why I'm here? Yeah. I'm here because I want to travel the world.
So
if you want to travel the world, don't look for a particular thing. I didn't marry the white man to have my paper.
That was your choice.
That's it.
Some people don't have those choices.
Thank you.
So you shouldn't take that as an example because that is business opportunity.
I tell you why I can.
That is simply business opportunity.
I tell you why I can use that. My mom is this. I cannot go to Africa with the way that I was brought up and impose that on African people because I'm privileged. I got a free education. Wait a minute. I got a free education. Yeah. I got about 5 shoes in my wardrobe. If I go to someone like Gambia, when a man's got one shoe to him and his 3 brothers, and it's only he actually get an education to the white woman to come to the country. I can't tell him he's wrong. That was his choice.
Can I ask you something? What the white woman going to do there?
Where?
Have you ever asked yourself?
Yeah, of course.
When the white woman live in Europe, what is she going to? Why is she going to Gambia?
Because she can do what she can't do anywhere else.
She can do what?
She can do it in Gambia, but she can't do it anywhere else. She can't.
So why the black man want to connect with her to come to Europe?
Because that's his opportunity.
No, the simple reason that he cannot do what he want to do there. They're like the white woman. They both are exactly.
And Gambia who have done that, who have made their money. After they make their money, they drop the white woman and sell it for their black woman. All of them are I can give you 45 men who I know.
They drop what?
All the men who I know who have gone to Africa, so they left Africa with an old German, old Irish, old Englishwoman, and Kenyan too especially. Once they've made their money and they've got their stay, they've dropped the woman.
Did not tell you that in business? Did not tell you when you're doing business? Whether you meet blue or black or white, you bring them, they work for you, you get the money, you leave them. That is different.
She has him on a form of superiority. She has him as a boy. Because she knows, am I lying?
She has no power.
Since you were born, did you ever sleep with a white girl?
I never needed to.
Eh?
No.
Tell me the truth. Just me and you. They're not listening.
If I slept with a white girl, may God Almighty when I'm dead. You know why? With my mother and my sisters and my brothers, if I did, believe me, I'd be a dead man by now. Yeah? That's what I do.
But why because they're not human? Are you taking them as inferior?
You know what? I like a black woman. I love the skin.
There's no choice.
I love the skin. I love the food. You know what? The best woman on the earth to me was my mother.
I thought that was your son.
Judgment, right? I do not see anything wrong with a person. If a man wants to travel, I feel in business. But I know what I like. The best woman on the earth to me was my mother. So therefore what I want will resonate from her. I want the cooking, I want the loving, I want the cussing, that's what I need. That's how I grew.
Can I say that you made a single-minded person, you love your mommy, and your mommy was black, and she had that jiggy behind. You remember when you were saying, and then you say, that's it, that's where I'm going. But I haven't got single-minded. Anyone now, I don't see the color. Bring it on.
Do you know what? I agree with you. You know why? I'll show you why.
Yeah.
Now, you must say this is a racist statement. I'll give you an example. Yeah? When you go go outside into the wider animal kingdom, yeah? Only when you come into captivity do you find a lion and a tiger will go together. Think about it. When you go to Africa, you see leopard, you see cheetah, you see lion, they're all cat family. Do they ever come together?
No.
Right. When you go into a zoo, you see a lion and a tiger make a liger. When animals, any species, come into a city or captivity dwelling, you find they always come together. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying
but that's why we're seeing a lot of foxes right now. We used to hunt them down and kill them out in a thingy, and we're not allowed to fox hunt anymore.
Can I ask all of you sitting here? Because it seems to me you gang on me today. Those that got children, when you are going to have that mixed race grandchild popping out of your child's stomach tomorrow, what's going to happen to you? Now I ask you a question. This is possible. Tell me this is a possibility.
Hold on. My son is with a young white woman.
Good.
Yeah? Yeah. You know what? Here, watch me now. Yeah? My son is with a young white woman. Yeah? It's not her colour. I've got to watch my son and know that he knows who he is. You understand? Because at the end of the day, my son, come in.
Oh my God.
Come in.
That's not it's your women.
Come in.
You're not going anywhere. Pull up the chair.
Listen, if it was here, they would have eaten me.
My son cannot walk on the road. If he sees a group of black women coming towards him, there's no way I want my son to be doing this. I want my son to be looking up and being proud of who he's walking with and being proud of his woman, because that's his choice. And I feel my choice because I don't have to lay down with my son. You understand?
Yep.
So at the end of the day, that's his choice. But he has to respect himself as a black man and hold his head up. Yeah? Because
I understand what you're saying.
Right. And that, I'm not having... My son said to me, when my daughter gave birth, don't look at me until I'm in my 30s to have children. And I said, thank you very much, darling. Thank you, because I really couldn't do with the next child, the next grandchild right about now. You understand? But if he was to bring one in, the same love and care I give to my 4-year-old grandchild now is the same love and care I'm going to give to that baby. You understand?
Because that's what will make peace.
No. It's not about making peace, right? Because I am at peace with who I am. Because I know who I am. Yeah? That is where we find peace, is knowing who you are, knowing what's in your heart. Yeah?
So do you agree with me, knowing who I am and what I want in life, that I found peace my way, without going far away back in the history for the history to change who I am?
It's not about changing who you are.
It's shape who you are.
It's not about changing who you are. It's knowing who I am.
You know when I know I am tall this much. Hold on, when I know that I'm this tall, I can try to grab something. But if I know I'm short this much, I will not manage to try to touch there.
Yeah, but why would you
shape your life?
But why would it, by knowing your history, why would that stunt your growth instead of...
Because in fact, knowing the history should develop your growth. You know why? Because you say, I know I'm not this tall, I'm this tall, but I can't reach it. But you might say, you know what? Talking to great-grandma, she told you, say, you know what, great, he found out a way, being that small, how to reach it. That's the point of history. We look to our history to see what was done before us. In fact, let's forget black people. Let's use European people, yeah? The French. Right?
But by the way, I haven't heard that great French. They say great British. writing, but there's no great French.
No,
it's just French. So don't add great in it because you'll have a problem with me.
Okay. Okay, let's all say. Check this out.
My daughter, I think I'm going to eat you.
No problem. Alright, the French, right?
Yes.
As an example, yeah?
Yeah.
And the French had the Foreign Legion. Yeah? As
Yeah.
we know.
Yeah.
The Foreign Legion went and they did their national service in the Foreign Legion. So they went to places in North Africa and learned how to really humiliate and break up black people, which shaped their opinions when they came back to France on how to treat black people in France. Yeah? Now therefore, that's how the history helped France become a strong nation and make sure we're going to keep France white. That's why in France, when you go to the centre of France, like the Champs-Élysées, it's all Caucasian.
Yeah.
And the further out you go, the darker it gets.
Yeah, that's it.
Why? Because they learned through studying their history how to keep France white. We never learned in our history how to keep Africa black. South Africa is no longer black. Morocco, Libya were all black hands. They all now look mixed race, don't they? Right, why? Because we say to ourselves, it's not important about being black. We should be free. That's why right now the world is getting whiter and we're saying, no, who cares? Black is only a colour. Now we're bleaching. Now we're frying our hair. Now we all want to look like Beyonce. We all want to look like every girl wants something Timberland as their boyfriend. When I was a little boy, if I walk the street with a Union Jack on my t-shirt or a George Cross, black kings, it's yours. No longer care who they are. But you know why? Because, I'll see you pushing that from West Indians as well. You know why? Because we don't care about who we are no more. We care about our brand name.
Yes.
I'm a Perkins, which means a rapist called Perkins raped my ancestors. It's a brand on my back. Now our children, Westfield has now become the church of our children because we want to have what the rich white man has. Because if I say this...
Yeah, World Cup, saw how much money was spent, saw how badly the people lived and suffered, but how much money was made on the World Cup, yeah? My grandson, 4 years old, yeah, he had on an England strip, yeah? He went and he's like, Uncle Randolph, I got on my England strip. And my brother said, no, you should be wearing the Nigerian strip, or you should be wearing Cameroon. Anyone else, he said, no, you should be wearing this. Do you know what my 4-year-old grandchild turned around and said to him? Uncle Randolph, I'm English boy. Yeah, and he's tapping the George flag. I'm English boy. Because that's what he knows. That's what he's been told. What are you, Jamari? I'm a little English boy. I'm a little black English boy. Because this is where he is.
Can I add to that? 3 generations of Chinese in Jamaica, they're still Chinese.
Yeah.
3 generations of Germans in Namibia are still Germans. We're the only people that who are going to praise a God that don't look like us. We're going to wear a flag that represents us and make it even worse. We're the only people who curse out our own partners. Chinese man beat his wife. You hear Chinese women say, is he Chinese man? They don't do that. You see Chinese women say, well, is he Chinese women? No, but he's a black woman. What? Is he my black man? Is he the black man TV boy? Is he a black girl there? We curse out each other to the world.
The worst thing that we can do, the worst thing we can do as black women is to put down our black men. Yeah. Instead of saying, oh, yeah, he's not working, but he's one of my fallen kings. Because we're not recognising that this man could have walked the earth as a king, I walked the earth as a queen. I see myself as a queen. I'm loved as a queen. You understand? So at the end of the day, that's one of my fallen kings. I've got to try and help him up.
I add to her. I can say for myself here, 20 years ago, I was a West End salesman. I was a pretty boy, Sultan Kai Bale. Love. You were
a pretty boy.
Pretty.
But you're still pretty now.
Now, I read Malcolm X in the Margaret Thatcher era. So you know what? Boop, 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 that's it on the head. I went to girls after love, and I see, we used to like women like it. I would say to her, you're right, Kieran. Chat up and say, you know what she said to me? Girl goes to me, what have you done? I goes, Rasta, your life's done. My family cursed me out. My girlfriends sacked me. They goes, I'm no good to no one no more like this.
When you turn to Rasta?
For 4 years, now I ain't a fool. For 4 years, I could not get a job anywhere. Not even black people employed, you know, white people. Yeah? I was forced to go self-employed. I was forced. I said, you know what, at that time, who did I go to? Marcus Garvey, self-reliance. Kwame Nkrumah said he would have never have known how to run Ghana if he hadn't read Philippines and Marcus Garvey. Why can't we teach our children to be nationalized in Africa? Why not have a United States of Africa? Why not?
Why not?
Why not? But you know what? Because we send our people here not to become nationalists, to become capitalists. We make our money, we go to Africa, we put the money in a Swiss account, when we die, Swiss keeps the money and we get poorer. Why? Because we don't think about having our own nation. You had Dubois, history again. You had Dubois and you had Garvey. Garvey said, we don't need, do our own thing. Are you foolish? If you cannot do what the white man has done for himself, you might as well die. Dubois said, nah man, integrate, become back of money, live with them. When Garvey died, Dubois goes, boy, Garvey was right, you know. Do you know why? I'll give you an example. The best thing in America for black people was segregation. You know why? You know why it was good? Because they were forced to have their own cabs, because they couldn't get in a white cab. They were forced to have their own cinema, baseball, football. They had their own. But you know what? Along comes the civil rights. We want to go to the same toilet as the European people. We want to do, so what we did? Jackie Robinson, he got signed up during the majors. Bam, goodbye American football. What happened? We didn't know. We were doing so well. When the Wall Street crashed in America, it didn't crash for us. We had our own economy. What did they come and do? They burned down our economies. Look at Rosewood, look at New York. They burned up to the ground. What did they use as an excuse? That black man over there raped my daughter. What did they do? They burned our whole towns down. Why? Because they realized the biggest fear of an African man is to realize that in this room right now, it's not Cameroon, Jamaica, Antigua. These are all African people with an African mind for an African nation. If they think that way, you know what? They'll realize they're the majority on the earth. That means United States of Africa means that African concept for African people won't have an African pound. But we say no, like a human.
That's why the film that I showed before, which was supposed to open the debate, was Mississippi Burning. That was the first film to actually sort of open up debate, Mississippi Burning. Because, there you go, I'll borrow it to you and watch it, and then we'll see where that comes from.
Yes, still it wouldn't help me because...
It would help you.
It wouldn't help me because what we need to do is, the film, I don't believe in the film. Because the people really, they don't break their leg properly. They tell you the story. They show you a little bit of image that didn't really happen. But what I see today, I see the white woman or white man going in Africa with poor children, giving them milk, with fly around.
Do you know how much they get in return?
Hold on,
Nice one. Nice one, Aki.
Even if they had a lot of money, because they live in money, but this woman, I see that on TV, that really finished me. Carrying these children with saliva, with fly and all that, as a human, why? Carrying a black child.
Mama.
And
so why don't we do it?
No, when we see it, we see Red Cross. No, it's not Red Cross, I'm sorry. It's a human who is white carrying a black child.
Hold on a minute, Mama. Hold on.
The nurse, this is it. No, I'm trying to say, don't see the greedy people that did wrong in the past and try to...
They are still doing wrong now.
The Red Cross is the greatest helper of Africa on film. Yeah? I went to Ethiopia when the famine was on. Yeah? When the famine in Ethiopia. You know what I saw?
Come on in, you're welcome.
Come in.
Come on in.
Come in.
Yeah.
This is at the third meeting.
Yeah. Mama,
okay, now take a seat.
Right. Mama, I'm just saying to you, I went to Ethiopia when the famine was on. I saw all the Bob girls on TV, but what you didn't see was all those poor Rasta men in Shashamani with no money bringing trucks of food every day.
They don't show that.
They don't show you that.
They don't show that.
You saw, just give us £3 a week and we will starve you. That's what we all saw.
Not that one.
Mama, I'm talking about that. Mama, I'll give an example. When it comes to separation, they will show you on film what they are doing. But what we're doing, you don't hear about it. When do you hear good news about black men on TV?
Never.
Never.
Because again, the black man doesn't want to have his own TV to report it.
No.
That is the problem. No. You keep your black man.
I like that point.
You keep your black man. Keep relying on when the white TV will report. They will not report.
You have been
a lack of record.
You have been
so many black people do.
You have been telling me so far in all the information what you have learned from Europe.
In Africa, there is culture. The culture.
Mama, let me finish. Mama, let me finish, please.
In the mouth.
You have told me so far since you come in here what you have learned from European side because you said to me it is not important to learn about the African story.
No, that's not what I said. I said I personally, my children are not doing the same. I personally think that I should lock in the room. I don't want to visit. I personally, and I want to live in peace. Me personally, not anybody around me. That is me. But there's so many good black people do so many good, even in their country. It does not show because there is no one to record. You just say black Americans. They start to have their own thing.
You're wrong. You have to put it.
You see what we know, what we walk over
I'm correcting you.
because she's got her own media
Mama,
and she's showing it.
Mama, I'm correcting you. I have a shop in
Sorry, disabled briefly.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem, no.
It's going to be great fun trying to get out of here.
Can you get
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.
reverse? Come again. Mama?
Yeah.
Just before I get to
But just take the example of Ebola.
I'm going to get to that in a minute. Mama? Mama, just to say this to you. You said that we're not recording. Now, this lady here, sometimes, yeah? I have a shop in Shepherd's Bush, Mama, yeah? In that shop, bye darling. In the shop, I have at least 3,000 DVDs, yeah? These are DVDs which are made, recorded, edited and sold about us, by us, for us. Yeah? They're there, they exist. But where you gonna, if you don't know me, where you gonna find them? That's the point I'm making, Mum.
Why is at this stage, and you've been in England for more than 20 years, you're still on DVD? What making you not to have a radio yourself? What making you have a television center yourself?
Mom, I'm trying to explain this to
you. You as a black person
I will tell you.
who is fighting, who knows what happened to you.
I will tell you.
And you're not even united.
I will tell you.
And when you order a meeting like this debate, how many of you are here today to listen?
I will tell you that. I'll show you why, Mama. You know what? We have all these radio stations. Yeah? We had Choice FM. which belongs in their system, in their country.
You let them happen. You let them happen.
No. How can that happen?
How can I tell me that all of us here is a lack of communication? We're not united at all. You keep blaming the white man. You keep blaming. Let me tell you, but we're not united. Why did we let them?
I want to prove it to you. I want to prove it to you. You're right. You know what? There's a man who came out and he goes, I'm going to give Africa a gold standard for money. No more we rely on American pounds, we're going to rely on African gold. And furthermore, we're going to build our own satellite. So we have our own African TV. You know what that was? Gaddafi. What happened to him?
What happened to him? They killed him.
Who was, hang on,
You're changing your subject.
Who was backing Gaddafi? Who was backing Gaddafi?
He's doing it in Africa.
Who was backing Gaddafi? The West African states were backing him at the time. He had West Africans. Why did they kill him? All the people murdered West Africans like mad. It wasn't on TV. We still
the problem is this one.
On TV.
We fight. We don't have a weapon that the West has got.
But why have they got the weapons?
We don't have. Well, the problem is this one.
Why are you using their weapon exactly? Why are we using the West weapon?
Listen.
Why are we using
It's his turn.
Listen.
It's his turn.
Okay, listening is the most important skill that can bring us together. Right? If you speak, we listen, and in turn. We use the weapon because we were colonized by them. They brought their system to our continent. They took our people away from us, put them into forced labor, and now we are here trying to improve back home. All the leaders in Africa, let's say in Africa, most of them have been in Europe. But do you know what they're doing in the country there? They're really ruining the resources of the country. I'm not saying because they are from this, but they are Africans. What they are doing is for me to be a billionaire, for the rest to suffer.
Capitalist.
Well, you see,
This is the problem. Now they're putting in our mind that if they know that if Africans come together, they will suffer. What they do is, okay, this is which country? Nigeria. You will be in conflict with Cameroon. You can't get along. Okay? They create wars. They create wars. I'm from Congo.
Africa. He's born in Africa like me.
I'm from Congo.
He's not what
He's the man to listen to.
you live.
Mama, Esther, hear this. Look, look at this man. Look at Congo.
Lumumba knew, Kwame Nkrumah, they knew that together Africa will be stronger. Africa will be stronger. What did they do? The white men corrupted the black. The black corrupted my blood to kill another block of mine. To kill Kwame Nkrumah, to kill Lumumba. They don't come themselves and kill our people, but they use us to kill each other.
Yeah, that's what
they do.
Why?
But listen. Why? I will tell you why. Look, Rwanda and Congo, right? Rwanda and Congo. Rwanda and
Tutsis, yeah?
Right?
And what happened is they left the smaller fraction in charge. How could you leave a smaller fraction?
They do that intentionally because they know that if these people are together, they will suffer.
Exactly.
That's what they do. And we are so corrupt in our mind that the system they brought to us has made us even more corrupt than themselves.
Because
we got their education.
We took from the Caucasian man, what we learned from them. We've
got that in our minds.
It's to be red-eye. I've got to be jealous of you. I've got to be jealous of what you got. I've got to be jealous of what you got.
It's personal greed. It's personal greed.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. You have to think of where did it come from? Where did it come from? That's the thing.
Because we learn with the books and the books in our mind.
Because we got colonized, yeah. Put it that way. A lot of people don't like to say it, but because, yeah, I'll say it again. Because the white men conquered, yeah. Because we allowed them to conquer.
Yes, you.
Yeah.
We allowed them.
That's why. That's what happened. And the worst thing about it,
we said allow them to
No, and that I would disagree with you. The thing is, if we attempt things like this, where we learn again about who we are, that will never happen.
That's true.
So okay, when you want to learn who we are, when you want to learn
Mama Esther. Speak before it's yours.
Very patient. There's something small that I have to say. Esther, you always say, why is it happening? Because at the end of the day, like your daughter, at the end of the day, we have to empower ourselves. It's not being done. It wasn't done when I was in school. I can tell you, the Black Death, Henry VIII and his many wives, and everything else that we learn about their history. My mum always said, well, what do you know about Black history?
Nothing.
I think I was taught about Malcolm X. It was very minimal. They talked about.
That took about a day.
You got what's the name? The Crimean War.
No, we didn't go. No, didn't get that. Didn't get that. No.
Okay.
Right. So at the end of the day, how we have to empower ourselves and our children.
When they're learning the
history can never be dead. Okay, take it from and can never be dead. You cannot lock it away.
No.
Because what you have to understand is, it's still happening today. It's just not as blatant as it was back then.
Florence Nightingale done what? Yes, but it's held up like she done everything. She was the one that saved all the army. She done Jackie, nothing. Yeah, but Mary C. Cole.
Right there.
Right
there. That's one of the reasons why I refuse to take anything down.
I finished my point.
I refuse. Sorry, get back to you.
Sorry.
Can we finish Mary C. Cole? Mary C. Cole isn't our hero. It's their hero. Because Mary C. Cole was on the battlefield. Shaka Zulu was having war, but she is an Afro-Caribbean woman on the battlefield of the Crimea saving slave masters. So she's their hero. So we're allowed to learn about their heroes in our community. They will give us King, because he said, they won't give love, they won't give Malcolm X, they won't give the Black Panthers. The people who said, you know what, right now, we'll say black and strong. They don't say that.
He said today he wanted to say something.
It's kind of still. It's still kind of.
I've seen him going like this. Spit it out, man.
No, it's just different things. Obviously, it's gone a long way. But one thing I wanted to say is that I feel that it kind of links in what you're saying about, you know, Marcus Garvey's idea of uniting Africa. Oh gosh. Anyway, uniting Africa and stuff, because I think people fail to realise whether or not history is relevant in your eyes, there is a global agenda by Western white countries and organisations and nations against everyone, especially what you would call an African person.
Definitely.
So what I'm saying is, even if you don't need to go into history and the Egyptians done this, you do need to make sure your children understand there is a war against them.
Watch out
in every level, media, everywhere. That's what that was earlier, but it kind of links into what.
That is why when Leah put her with fighting always for Black history to be here, Black history to happen, Adventure Center all the time. So I bring her to listen because I personally don't want to be saying anything. So I want her to hear from other people. That's because, to be honest, my African cousin are better for that. I grew up in Africa. I don't want to know nothing to do with Africa.
But that's
my personal choice.
But that's the thing though. That's the thing though, because again, but that's my point though, right? I respect the fact that you say that.
But one thing you're not asking me Leah, is why you don't want to know.
But that's the thing though, like I'm saying to you, Esther, you've already explained that, you know, that was, you know, your mother's war and your father's war. And I get that, and I respect that you want to you don't want to sort of do that and learn that or what have you. However, right, in order for us to change the cycle, in order for us to empower ourselves, in order for us to sort of stop being the race that is conquered, right, we need to sort of know where we're coming from. We need to know what happened before in order for us to learn from it and to better for it. And the thing is, if we don't do it now, and fair enough, I ain't got kids, but if we don't do that, if I don't know, right? And if I don't educate myself and empower myself, how the hell will my kid know that actually this is what happened back then? They won't know. We need to empower ourselves. We need to educate ourselves. And it's the fact that, you know what, some of it is painful. And you're thinking, you know, because watching these people, and I was like, really? Like that. It angers you. It does. But then you sort of think, hang on a minute, what am I taking from that? What am I learning? What am I going to go further and show? You have to. You have to.
Like I said, going through past, you say that, you know, people are bitter, and at the end of the day, we're not bitter. Because we as a collective people, if we were bitter and malicious, no other race would be here. Let me tell you that. We are not bitter at all. We're very peaceful people. We are. And we've been taken advantage of, and we don't know our own power. Every other race knows it. Yeah. That's why through social media, through TV, through newspapers, it's all manipulation. They don't want us to unite. Because they know how strong we are. We don't know our
and we follow the trap there.
And our empowerment, we don't know it.
Esther, I'll share this much, yeah? I go around the schools in all over London, over England, doing Black history. Do you know how, we only get 1 month of the year, but do you know how hard it is for the black people in the school? There are teachers in school right now, vexed. St. Thomas's School up the road. We're not doing Black History Month, we're doing International Month. Because
multicultural.
They got their Diwali, they got their Eid, they got everything, but the 1 month of the year to recognise African achievement, we don't want to do that. We think it's biased.
Biased?
Yep.
I'm talking about 95% of the schools I've been through. I've been at the one school today, I was training at one school today I went to now, right? And when I came, it was like, oh, you're going to be everybody gets some Bob Marley and some and the stories and all this. And it was like, I'm vexed because to them it's a joke. So when I go to them, because of what do you do? I go, I do world history from an African perspective. Oh, well, I thought, do you mean like before the Windrush? No, after the Windrush. I go, no, I do African history in England way before the Windrush. What do you mean? The Celts, the Picts, the Druids, everything. There was no real white history in England until 1066. Exactly. All the skulls found in the Druids are all dolichocephalic. African skulls are dolichocephalic. European skulls are brachycephalic. So this is what the Picts, the Celts, even most of the Vikings, the Irish, the Scottish kings. The first king of Scotland was, the first king of Scotland was Kenneth Dougall. If I'm in Scotland, educating a black boy, and I say to him, the first king of this country look like you. It's just as much your country as it is his. I'm not saying to him that you're superior or anything. I'm saying to him, you've got just as much right to be here as anybody else. And be proud of who you are.
And the music we're listening to.
It's not about black and white.
The music that we're listening to. We don't want to listen to, what's it called?
Irish jig?
No. No. We're not listening to classical music because that's not black music. Let me tell you something. It is black music. That's where it originates from, because we had certain people that could play music. The harp was the original piano.
The kora.
Yeah. Now, we need to be, our children need to know this, yeah, to know where music comes from, because it didn't come from Jay-Z and Beyonce. It came way.
You said nearer history. Mum, you said nearer history. I'll give you an example of nearer history. When I grew up, my music was from distribution to the singer to the studio was all African and Caribbean music. Therefore, we sang about God. The baddest man around Kindred sing about your love. We talk about the Father, creation, no matter how bad you were. There was always a spiritual foundation to our music. Then they said, you know what? We tried to beat them, we murdered them, but they're still doing it. You know what? Capture their voice.
Yeah.
Because you know what? If one thing black people love is bass line. So rather than sing about your love, it was yo skin out, girl, rock up and wine. You know why? I used to manage the sound system. And I noticed this, yeah, when Garnet Soul was out. Now, before, all the guys were giving it, hello, mama, Africa. What do you man? Yeah, man, what you, yeah. All the girls in there, tight and bite and tear up.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure now, what's that? Come on after this, get outside. The girls walked up to the guys. Hello, mama. Yeah, soon come here. When I put on, watch this. Broke up and wine. But it was coming, oh yeah, I love you, oh yeah. So what it done was, they realized the foundation, the power behind the black man is the black woman. They know this. Whatever the black woman stands for, the man's gonna follow. So if the woman is a Jezebel, and it's called a hoe, the man will say, yeah, I'm a pimp. You've seen it. You've seen it. If the girl says, you know what, I'm a bashment queen, she's got to have a bashment king. Now, the boys dress more like girls. Pants down here.
Yes.
Tight trousers. Man would give up, man dancing. Now the guys will give it. That's how man dance. Why? Because now our major singers and are all signed up to European and American labels to make the money.
That's it, yeah.
When you sign, you get an image license, you get a lyrical license. I could come in saying, I'm the strongest man, I love my wife. By the time I join, okay, I am the weakest man, and how can I dance with a fella? So therefore, they're going to feminize me, they're going to make me seem soft, they're going to make me seem, as far as they're concerned, they know one thing. I'm going to get the biggest person who's the biggest artist, someone like 50 Cent, and say, you got to wear this. I don't like it. I'm paying you. You're wearing it. Oh man.
You're on the free.
Do you remember years ago? I'm going back like 20 years. And all you guys wear these jeans with all these funny colours from Versace. Remember the jeans? There's a history behind that story. A man came to Versace and said, I've got about 40 tons of fabric I can't get rid of. What am I going to do? Don't worry about it, man. He made a pair of jeans and put them on some famous rapper. Horrible looking things. Now, you know we got bottom here now, right? These things got no bottom, some kind of tight thing. So she's now, right? Once that rapper wore it, every single person in our community wore it. Even the white people are wearing it now. Why? Because the person, what I call the HNIC, the head nigger in charge, just like on the plantation, he said, you know what? We're going to get one high-rolling person, usually the pastor, put him in a high hat. Now what? Everybody wants a high hat too. Why? Because it's a cast off from the master's table. If you know not who you are or who you came from, if you stand for nothing, you will stand for anything. And that's what's in our community right now. Our youth are not told, do not know what to stand up for. So therefore, it's like when I grew up, I went to Simba. Remember Simba? Simba was our place. I go there, I meet fools and wise men. So I learned how to be a man. Now, the young guys do not meet. See, like my age group, his age group, they don't meet us no more. See, Zach, reason why Zach knows me, Zach's mum, who's a European woman, alright, said Zach to me. She goes, here, and he's a white woman talking. Do you mind if I talk to Zach?
I don't know.
Alright. Zach's mum said to me, I was going to talk in like this, in the way she was living. And she goes to me, do me a favour, my son, he needs to get his Africanness back because he's losing it. White lady with a mixed race son. When I met him, you know who gave me argument? He gave me argument. You're talking jack blood, you're an idiot. That was him. He came to my shop for years.
You came to what I said today. There's white people that carry small children with flags. They're real, like her mother. They're real people. They have no color. They're real people.
How does
and we shouldn't mix all of them.
They are minority, really.
We shouldn't mix. Hold on. We shouldn't mix. We shouldn't mix all of them. That's what I'm trying to say. We should not mix them because we are.
You're right. You're right. We agree with you. But how does society then treat his mother?
They treat his mother like they treat you and me.
Worse than me. Worse than me.
What Hitler did to his own people.
But you know what? But the beautiful thing is this.
So there's always one greedy man who want to. It's personal. What people doing wrong. When they're doing wrong, they take the pleasure.
The recolonization of black people is not personal. It's built somewhere. that in the G7, G20, whatever, that Africa should never be free. They've written that somewhere.
Yeah, they have.
How can you just find
And you agree.
small countries?
We agree.
Are you from Cameroon?
Yes.
Then you're worse. Because Cameroon was divided up in 1884.
Yeah.
I know.
There is one part.
Right, exactly. Nigeria is an invention of European people. From the time you're saying that, see me, I'm not, my mum was from Montserrat. I'm not Montserratian. I'm just African. I don't recognize no border or no clan. To me, you're not a Cameroon woman. You're an African woman. Period.
I am.
When I see him, he's an African. No, but this way, you've taken on board a border set to put you in.
No, you see, you're not getting what I'm saying. I say in Africa, the country, they call them clan. All of us were the same. But there's this clan that eat cassava. The other clan eat cassava leaf more. The other one eat okra. It's true. Even here, the same thing she's eating, that's not what you're eating in your house. So you call that clan. For me, Africa is one. But there are some clans that are weak. And the people living in big city, they're the weakest. Because the people in the village, they still believe in their God. When you sick, they turn the vegetable in and they make you drink. The sweat come out and you fine. They don't even need white people medicine. That's what I'm not calling any country in Africa that Cameroon, Nigeria, no, we're one, but we little clan. You have to put the name on it. Yeah? And I do not believe that my country was colonized by anyone. No. We were free from the time they caught each of us. From the time they caught us from our mom's stomach, we were completely free. Who say and accept that somebody came from the north or from the south to come and say
they brought their weapon. They brought their weapon to colonize us.
No, what my dad saying is this man coming and telling us what to do and forcing us to wear what we don't want to wear. He has to go back to his country.
Mama, you know what?
That's all what he did.
You're right, but you always remember.
Don't tell me I was colonized. I will beat you.
Nobody you can beat me. But Mama, nobody in Africa today is now where they were.
No.
Ghana is now not where it was. The people in Egypt, they're not the same people.
No.
Nobody is. We have all been moved around. Because you know why? Only the European man does this. I hereby name this place blah blah blah. We don't do that.
You accept it.
Ashanti is where Ashanti is. If I'm an Ashanti warrior and I'm here, it's good. It's the drought, I'm over here. It's the Ashanti land. Where the Ashanti dwell, the Ashanti land. So therefore we don't claim the land. The land claims us. When we die, we go back to the land. That's an African tradition. So we now have become so Euros. Even our argument here is a Eurocentric argument.
Yeah.
You know why? Because we're all arguing about our Africanness. We're all arguing about how African we ain't, how African we are. We are just African, first and foremost. And as African, we must teach our children what it means to be an African. Why we need to be proud of our heritage.
No matter where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. That's what the song's saying, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
And you know what? Here's my friend, yeah? No one's going to come to him and say to him, oi, you honky. They're going to call him a nigger. A racist man don't see, a racist man will only see him as a nigger.
What is
Sometimes
you told his.
No. Honky, it was a termination black people had for white people. You're a honky, that's what you would call them. You know, not like
it's the same way they call you a nigger, so you call them a honky.
Yeah.
Really?
Well,
What is a honk? That means it's beautiful.
Mama, it's not, the word is important. What I'm making is this. When a European man sees him, he doesn't say European man.
No, he doesn't.
He will say African man.
That's true.
When a European man sees her, he will say African woman.
Is he?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she is.
Once she's got a colour in her, that's it.
One
Hold on, turn around.
Yeah.
Is she mixed race?
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't know that.
Mama,
why should you?
European law says, one drop of black makes it, one drop of black makes you a black woman.
Yeah.
Now, If she says tomorrow, I disown all black people, they're Negroes, they will embrace her.
Oh.
They will embrace her, she's one of us.
Yeah.
If she comes tomorrow and says, yo, Rastafari, oh, she's one of them, troublesome. Hello, don't destroy her. You understand? We've all been through it. I've been through it.
But don't you think that is the punishment God is making for the world to have a lot of mix?
Which God? Which God? Who's God? Do not put man's doing and man's decisions onto God.
Oh, what did you say?
Do not make man's choices be God's choices.
Man's choices, that means your choice, my choice, everybody's choices.
I mean,
so we could have choices to decide that whatever the white man is bringing from the West to come to Africa to tell us to kill our own brother, we should refuse. So that's why we go wrong.
There are people who refuse, but
that's why we go wrong.
As soon as you refuse, they kill you. Look, the real Kabila, the real Kabila Congo.
People, I don't want to upset because I'm loving the vibe. I'm loving it. But right now, we're going to get over time.
Yeah. We should continue this again.
To say this, we're blessed.
No, we're not.
Yeah, no. We're blessed to be in this country where they allowed us. With this country is better to sit like this, talking loud about black and white.
Because we fight to make it better. Because we fight to make it better.
There's so many
She's talking about countries like France.
We fight to make it better. We fight to make it better.
Never allow.
No. We fight to make it better. Because Esther, even now, right? Even now, I still have to, even here, yeah, I still have to fight for me to have a Black History Month event. And you know that.
I know that. I give you that.
So again, I would say it again. We fight to make it better. We have to.
When is the next debate? When is the next debate?
No, say really.
All the heads getting frizzy now.
Yeah, I know. And don't worry, you know, it's all natural, yeah?
You see that program, but here, yeah. Natural. Chris took himself about how much millions of men got black hair, but who gets this black hair for our black people?
Indians.
The Indians.
Yes.
And the worst thing about it, right? If you go to Harleston, right, you see all the Indians, I'm sort of who go in there, all the black people want to go and buy something for free.
My brother, check this, right? If they came in here today and saw me saying to you, my weave, I'm an island, they go, Rudy's lost his mind. But if they said about me, what can I say about them?
Exactly.
So where's that coming from? Nothing to do with women, no one to catch my eyes, I think that's it.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. I was on the bus and one of the and the worst thing about it, she's a sister like me, you know. She's like this. Is that your ear?
Thank you.
I've never seen black people with that. I'm thinking, really? So I am black then?
Sister, you know what I'm I went to a wedding and a black guy married an Asian woman, yeah? I'm sitting down, he the Asian girls, hey, that's got your mom's hearing. That's it, just comes here and take the black girl. I goes, you can't say that. She goes to me, come on brother, black women don't like themselves. I goes, yes they do, hit them. If they like themselves, they show their own hair, they promote themselves. She goes,
no.
Do you see me sporting an Afro weave? Hell no, that's not my culture. If we loved ourselves, we promote our own culture. So what I'm like,
you can't say that because what you said is true.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, Chris Tucker brought in the back of Afro curly, non-relaxed hair, and he goes to the shop. Would you buy this hair? He says no. Because this is not what black people want. They want straight hair.
When I was at primary school,
it's on BBC when they were watching. Yeah, look at the film section.
Somebody has to be on the other side.
Yeah, where's my pen?
Come.
Somebody has to be on the other side.
Esther, when I was in primary
Dorset for a while. Yeah.
Dorset?
Yeah.
You went to Dorset?
And do you know what I was told by the white children in Dorset? They didn't have enough.
Anybody for fruit?
Only had enough please to dip your feet and the palm of your hand.
Yeah, I'll see fruit.
That's why the palm of your hand.
You want fruit?
What fruit?
Don't be shy. They didn't have enough bleach for me to dip my. They didn't have enough to dip my feet in the palm.
Oh, our arrangement.
And this would be told by white children.
The last 6 years.
Okay.
As I said, just like you were saying.
Every
Friday for the last 6 years, I've been doing this. But the thing is, if you don't know about it, you won't know because they control our media.
We got